Hi, my name is Austin Zoot, and welcome to the Zoot Perspective Web Congregation. In this week's Torah portion, we see Jacob. Jacob has just stolen his brother's birthright right out from under Esau, his brother, and has angered both his brother and his father Isaac, and is fleeing the land of his father. He's running away, and on his way to go see his uncle, he stops to rest. The sun is going down, and he needs to take a short nap. So he lays down, takes a rock, and puts it under his head as a pillow and falls asleep. While asleep, he has a dream. He dreams of angels on a ladder going up and down, rising to heaven and descending back to the earth. He feels God in this holy place. And when he wakes up, he makes the very, very interesting comment that God was in this place and that he did not know it. How beautiful imagery in this Torah portion, beautiful sense of spirituality and holiness and looking around and finding divinity in any situation. And you know what? It's a beautiful message that we really need to internalize today. We look around the world and we see such hatred, such violence, and such cruelty. We need God in these places. We need God in every facet of our lives. And when we look around, it is not easy to find God. God is hidden. God is mysterious. We can't even decide if we believe in God. We can't even decide if God has a role in our lives, let alone if we do decide we want God, how to find God. This Torah portion proves to us that even when God can't be seen, God can be felt. There are ways to look around and find holiness in places that we may not see it. Now, I understand that God is a complicated subject for a great many people. God doesn't manifest God's self in the traditional way. Most people, I would say most people, do not believe in God as the form of an old man with a beard sitting in a chair in heaven making decisions. That's what we're told God should be since we're very little. And as we get older, we start to realize that is not necessarily a version of God we can relate to. We look for that God in the world, and we don't find him. I say him because we don't find him. What we're having trouble with is we want to find a God. We want to find a meaning. We want to find a holiness. And what we need to start doing is acknowledging the holiness that other people find and the holinesses that we find for ourselves that may not come in the form of a traditional notion of God, but that come in the form of God that we can understand, that relate to us, that is the spirituality and divinity that each of us has inside. It's also really interesting to note in this Torah portion, Jacob is a refugee. Jacob is fleeing a land where he's no longer welcome, where he's about to receive persecution and be struck down by his brother, and he's fleeing to another place. He's looking for a safe place to call home, and he stumbles upon this place that he feels God's presence, that he feels God's holiness, and he feels safe and he feels comfort on his journey, on his way to wherever it is he will wind up. Now what we end up learning is he does wind up in a new place. He does wind up somewhere. He's welcomed in, he has an opportunity to establish a new life, to find himself a wife or two, and to settle himself. We need to learn something from this. The world right now has too many refugees. There are too many people who are fleeing one land where they're receiving persecution and where they're subject to hatred, and we, as people, have an obligation, a moral obligation and a religious obligation to give them that safe space, to find them a place where they can feel at home, where they can feel safe, and where they can become a part of a new community. Americans have an opportunity to serve as a home, as a safe haven for those fleeing oppression from other places. And anyone who wants to quote God or the Bible as their reason needs to quote this. Needs to quote welcoming, needs to quote accepting, needs to quote opening their gates and opening their doors and allowing those who need help to find refuge in our homes and our places. It's not easy, but when have we ever been afraid of doing what is difficult? That's what I got out of this week's Torah portion, especially with the light on the situation going on in our world today. I very much encourage you to please share your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can stay involved in all of the Zoot Perspective. And also, please feel free to donate to my GoFundMe page. The link can be found below. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Shabbat Shalom.